Guten Morgen. Welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us.
Let's learn Torah.
Mute yourselves, folks.
Everybody use it. We got to learn Torah.
It's nice to hear the Olam so animated. And it really is a Simchas Yom Tov to see everybody here. I didn't welcome the people that are in the shul, Berish Gesem and Michal Avram. It was good to have him back. Ruvain Shannon and Reb Halpert, good to have you back as well. It was really, really quiet here. We really had a small Olam. And it's nice to have everybody back. And it's good to see Shimon Deer's son joining us in the Sukkah. Hello there. We are holding on Daf Chav Daled Amud Aleph, 5 lines from the top. So it says, Omer al gabe kelim al gabe behema al gabe regel chaveroi pasel. If Yitzi is doing the avodah, and instead of, they did the avodah barefoot, because the ritzpah was a clay shares, and their feet were supposed to be on the clay shares. If instead Yitzi put his foot on a keli, or on an animal, or on his friend's foot, it's possible, because that's a chatzitza. So the Gemara says, Minola, and how do we know that it's a problem if you don't touch the ground? The Tana Debei Rabbi Yishmael, we learned in the Academy of Rabbi Yishmael, the Tana Debei Rabbi Yishmael, Hayil v'ritzpa mikadeshes, the floor is mikadesh, v'klei sharis mikadshim, and a klei sharis sanctifies. Ma klei sharis lo yeh davar chaytzes beinay lebein klei sharis. There can't be anything interposing between him and the klei sharis. Af ritzpa, the floor lo yeh davar chaytzes beinay lebein haritzpa. It's so interesting that when you learn the Megillah, now that Yom Kippur is over, people are already thinking about Purim. You know I see it in Yitzi's face. Yitzi is already wondering what he's going to give for Shalach Manas, right? So it says in the Megillah, Ritzbas Bahat V'Sheish V'Dar V'Seicharas, that Achashverosh had a floor studded with gems. Now that's very unusual. A floor studded with gems. But it was paralleled after the Beis Hamikdash that the floor was a clay shares and was very precious. Says no, but it was very precious. So the Gemara says, now v'tzricha, and we need to know that whether Yitzi was on a keli or an animal or a person's foot, it's possible. The iash min a keli mishum dalav mina debasin, because it's not a type of flesh. But an animal which is a type of flesh, I would think it's not a chatzitza. It's not a human. Standing on another person's foot, I might think it doesn't interpose. Tzricha. So now the Gemara looks into several interesting cases. Tanya. Rabbi Eliezer Omer ragloi achas ala keli v'ragloi achas ala ritzpa. Yitzi has 1 foot on the floor and 1 foot on a step stool. Ragloi achas ala even, 1 foot on a rack, v'ragloi achas ala ritzpa, and 1 foot on the floor. So there the rule is that if we would pull away the step stool or the stone, he would be able to balance on the 1 foot. Royin kol she'ilu yinata la'keli v'tinata la'evan. If we would take away the step stool or the rack, yochel lamod al raglei achas, he'd be able to balance himself on 1 foot. V'yavad avidasa ksheira v'imlav. But if he would fall down, avidasa psula. Now, boy Ravami nidal delo ha'evan. One of the stones of the floor became detached. V'amar aleha, and he stood on that detached stone. Mao. So the Gemara says, "Heicha de'ein daita l'charba," where they're not going to reattach it. so it's not part of the floor anymore. Lo tiboilach devadei chaytza. That's definitely a chatzitza. Ki tiboilach dedaita lechabra, where they plan to reattach it. My kaven dedaita lechabra. So kol oimid lechaber kechaber dami, and therefore kamadach mechaber dami. It's like it's attached. Oidil mahashta miyah tlisha, and therefore maybe it's no good. Rabba zute boile haki. That was the way. Rabba zuti, Rabba the small, boile haki, inquired as follows: Boy Rabami, nekra ha'evan. If one piece of the floor was uprooted, like one tile, v'amad b'mekayma, and he stood on what was underneath the floor. Now, says the Gemara, my kamaboyle, says the Gemara, what was his shaila? Is the shaila ki kaddish David Ritzbel Yaina Kaddish? Did David HaMelech only sanctify the upper floor, but not what was underneath? Or he sanctified this area all the way down to the depths. So then, why, Claire, if one stone is missing, say what would be the din if the whole floor is missing? Says the Gemara, you're right. Everybody agrees the whole area is Kaddish, not just the upper floor. All the way down to the depths, it's holy. Question is, if he's standing in a hole, is that the derech of ministry? Is that the normal way to stand in a hole and do the avodah? Says the Gemara Teiku. To both questions, Tishbi Yataretz, Kushis Ribais. Now, the last sugya for today is about catching the blood in your left hand. So Rabbanan say if you catch the blood in your left hand, it's possible, which is the pashut. Kabbalah is an avodah, you do it in the left hand, it's possible. Reb Shimon says it's kosher. And now we're going to analyze this machlokes. No, I see so many people are in the sukkah, and Ruvain Shannon asked me tonight a very good question. I told him not to bring me something to drink because I tried not to eat it out of the sukkah. So he said to me a very good question, why don't they give the shir in the sukkah? That's a good question. Maybe we'll do this shir in the sukkah tomorrow night. We'll see. Why not? It's so nice to see so many people in their beautiful sukkahs. Really, really nice.
Is the Rav up to it? The Rav was sick last week. I mean,
No, Baruch Hashem.
Wow.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. I mean,
You have your recliner in the sukkah.
what?
You'll have to do without your recliner.
Recliner? You mean the chair that I'm sitting on?
Yeah.
I have a nice chair in the sukkah too.
I might have to listen to the shir in the car. But that's when you say you can pick me up tomorrow.
Okay.
Rabbi, the Shliach Tzibor usually used to be they were in a depressed area, correct? They were in a
Yeah,
hole.
that's because it says she'amalis mimamakim krasicha. Rav Heinemann.
That wouldn't apply here.
What?
That wouldn't apply.
No, because it's supposed to be done on the floor.
Yeah.
That, by the way, that is the diak in the Gemara all over Shas. It says hayored lifnei ateva, one who descends to the teva. So there are many shuls that have a step down to go to daven. Now, and it would be a good idea for people to try to mute themselves. Now, Like Marshall says, less is more. Marshall comes up sometimes with very good thoughts, Less is more.
Thanks for giving me the thought.
Yeah. Now, Kibel bismol puzzle. If you catch the blood in your left hand, it's puzzle. While Reb Shimon makshe. While Reb Shimon approves it in the left hand. Tan Rabbanan. Now we're going to see that there's certain code words. One of the code words is etzba. Wherever it says the forefinger, it has to be done with the right. We learned that out from Mitzayra, where it says Yemanis. So, Tan Rabbanan, be'etzba v'lokach, with the forefinger you take. Malamed shloi take Kabbalah ela b'yamin. The Rabbanan learned that you don't take with the finger, you take with a klei sharis. So it must be that you're holding the klei sharis with the etzba, and since etzba denotes the right, so it should be done with the right. Be'etzba v'nosan, it also says etzba v'nosnu. Malamed shleitei nesina, the placement of the blood should only be also ela b'yamin. So now Reb Shimon counters, and Reb Shimon's countering doesn't really make much sense. The Gemara is going to wonder what he's talking about. But Amar Reb Shimon v'chi nemra yad b'Kabbalah. Does it say yad by Kabbalah? Ela be'etzba'oi v'nosan. It says that with his forefinger he should place it. Shalei tei nesina ela b'yamin. The placement should be with the right hand. And hoyel v'loi nemra yad b'Kabbalah. Therefore, kibel b'smal, if you accept it with your left hand, kosher. Now, Reb Shimon Mamanavshah, Iyas like Gzeir Shava, if he says a Gzeir Shava of Yad Yad, then he would hold of the Gzeir Shava of Etzba too. Kiloi Nemer Yad b'Kabbalah Mayave. So what if it doesn't say Yad? It says Etzba, and there's a Gzeir Shava of Etzba. The less like Gzeir Shava, and if he doesn't hold of the Gzeir Shava, then what would be if it said Yad? Ki Nemer Yad b'Kabbalah Mayave. If it said Yad, it wouldn't mean anything. Amar Rabbi Yehuda la'olam less like Gzeir Shava. He doesn't hold the Gzeir Shava. V'achi kamer. V'chi nemer yad yamin b'Kabbalah? Does it say the right hand by Kabbalah? And hoyel v'loi nemer yad yamin b'Kabbalah kibel b'smal kosher. Amalei Rabba ihachi afilu nesina nami. If he doesn't hold the Gzeir Shava, then even though it says etzba'oi v'nosan, it shouldn't need the nesina to be b'yamin either. V'aid. V'chileslei the Reb Shimon Gzeir Shava. Does Reb Shimon not hold of Gzeir Shava? V'tanya Reb Shimon Aimer called makom shenemer yad ein el yamin. Wherever it says yad, it means right. Etzba ein el yamin. Alama Rav Eloi lamislei Gzeir Shava. V'achi kamer. V'chi nemer yad b'Kabbalah. Does it say yad when it talks about Kabbalah? V'loi nemer yad b'Kabbalah ela etzba. But it only says etzba. But you can't catch it with the finger. You have to catch it with the klei sharis. The efshel kabla be'etzba, and the klei sharis you can't hold only with a finger. So it must be that the etzba is only referring to the placing of the blood. Kibel b'smal kosher. So Rav Samabrei the Rav Ashi doesn't like that. He said it would be possible to hold the keli just with the forefinger. We can make a handle, an ozen, an ear. An ear is like the handle of a coffee cup, which is like an ear. You can make a handle for the keli and then hold it just with your forefinger. Amalei Rav Samabrei Rav Ashi Ravina Efshad Avalei Ozen L'Svas Mizrik. You can make a ear, a handle, for the edge of the basin, and hold it with a finger. Ella Amar Abaya, the machlokes between the Rabbanan and the Reb Shimon is a famous drasha machlokes. When it says a word in between two subjects, do you put it on what's ahead Do you put it on what's before, or do you put it on both? B'mikra nidrish lefanav la'acharav kamiflagi. Whether the word is expounded to refer to that which was before and that which is after, or only that which is after. Reb Shimon holds that the etzbai v'nosan only goes on what's after. So the placement has to be with the etzba. It doesn't go on the v'lokach that's before. While the Rabbanan hold, it goes on what's before and what's after. Amar Abaya, Reb Shimon's son, Reb Elazar, doesn't hold like any of them. He doesn't hold like the Rabbanan and not like his father. He charts his own course. Says the Gemara, Amar Abaya, Hadu Reb Elazar, Reb Shimon mapka midavua. It is not like his father. Or mapka midrabanan. It's not completely like the rabbis either. The Tanya, Reb Elazar, Reb Shimon Aimer, Kol mokum shenemar etzba bekabbalah, where it says etzba by the catching the blood, shina bekabbalah, if you do the catching of the blood with your left hand, puzzle. But nesina, but the placement, if you do it with your left hand, kosher. Now this is a pasuk. It says by the chatas. It says v'lokach hakoyin midam hachatas be'etzbai v'nosan al karnes mizbeach ha'oila. So Reb Elazar, Reb Shimon says we darshan it lefanav and not la'acharav. So therefore lokach hakoyin midam hachatas be'etzbai. So the etzbai is the right. So it has to be, the Kabbalah has to be right. But it doesn't go on la'acharav, and therefore v'nasan al karnes mizbeach ha'oila, the placement of the dam could be even with the left hand. On the other hand, the kol makom shenemar etzba b'nesina. Now this is a rare pasuk by the Miluim. Now by the Miluim, it says etzba b'nesina. It says etzba at a placement. The pasuk by the Miluim is the following pasuk. V'lakachto medam hapor v'nosata al karnes mizbeach be'etzba echa. So there, it says etzba only by the nesina. So, kol makom shinema etzba b'nesina, by the placement, shina b'nesina, if you do that with the left hand, it's possible. B'kabbalah, but if you catch it with the left hand, it's kosher. Now, v'heicha nemar etzba b'nesina, where is this pasuk that I'm talking about by the Miluim? Dichsiv v'lakachta medam apar v'nosata al karnes mizbeach be'etzba echa. So there clearly, etzba echa is only by the nesina. The Kesavar, as he proved by the Chatas, mikra nidrish lefanav, the pasuk is only expanded to what was before it, but v'loy lefnei fanav, but not which is before the before, right? Because v'lakachta medam apar v'nosata al karnes mizbeach be'etzba echa, v'lakachta would be lefnei lefanav, before, and also not la'acharav, loy la'acharav, and not which is afterwards. So therefore, by the Chatas, the nesina which is afterwards does not need to have for yamin. Now, Amar Rabba Babachana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Kol mokom shenemar etzba u'kahuna, wherever it says both etzba and kahuna. Now, I said both, but it might mean either or. The Gemara is going to discuss that. Kol makom shenemar etzba u'kahuna eina ela yamin. It only refers to right. Now, kasolta daitan, the Gemara thinks that this is tarte ba'inan, that it has to say both code words, etzba and kahuna. K'dichsiv v'lokach hakoyin midam hachatas be'etzbai. The kohen takes the blood of the chatas with his etzba. So there it says both kahuna and etzba. The yolaf in Mitzayra, and we learn out from Mitzayra, which is right, where it says both kayin and etzba. The siv v'tol kayin es etzba yamonis. So it says kayin and etzba. It means the right. Says Gemara, but wait, vari kmitza. Now we all know that the kmitza, the taking of the handful, scooping out the handful, which has to be done biyamin, it doesn't say etzba. Vari kmitza the like sibba elakuna utnan komatz b'smol puzzle. If you do kmitza with the left hand, it's puzzle. So now the Gemara right away changes. Elo amar rava oy etzba oy kahuna. It's enough whether it says just etzba or just kahuna. Amalei Abai, wait a second, we have a problem. Hari halacha say varm lekevesh. Before they put the limbs of the taida on the mizbeach, they arranged it on the ramp. It was a whole procession. They arranged them on the ramp. Now it says over there kahuna. Dichsiv b'hu kahuna. Dichsiv v'hikr v'akayin asakol v'hikter amizbeach. And before smoking up on the mizbeach, it says v'hikr v'akayin. He brings it near. V'amar ma'azu halacha say varm lekevesh. So it says kayin. But we know that the kayin holds things in his left hand. Usnan, the first kayin in the procession, holds the head in his right hand. Haregel shel yamin, and the right hind leg, he holds bismoilai in his left hand. Ubeis ayra lechutz, and he keeps the cut towards his body and the hide outside. It's more respectable. But here you see it says kayin, and he clearly holds something in his left hand. Says the Gemara, you're right. Kayin is not enough. Etzba is enough. No, sorry. Don't let me mix you up. Where do we say etzba or kayin is a sign of right? That's only with avodah that's ma'akev the kapara. Like kmitza is ma'akev the kapara. But putting the limbs on the ramp, that's not vital. That's why something that would invalidate the atonement. Dumya de Mitzayra, similar from Mitzayra, where we learn the whole thing out from. But wait a second, says the Gemara. Vari Kabbalah, the Kosabu Kahuna, it says Kayin. V'davar ha'ma'akev b'kaparahu, it's something that invalidates. Kabbalah is one of the four avodas hadam, it's a must. Usnan, yet Reb Shimon holds kibul b'small puzzle. Right? Yet Reb Shimon says machshir, Reb Shimon says it's kosher. If it's with the left hand, it says kayin. Says, well, you're right. Reb Shimon tarte boy. Reb Shimon needs kayin and etzba. Says Gemara, mi boy Reb Shimon tarte. Vatani Reb Shimon Aimer kol makom shenemer yad ein el yamin. Wherever it says yad, it refers to the right. Etzba ein el yamin, even though it doesn't say kayin. So he says, yeah, etzba loy boy kun. Etzba doesn't need to say kayin, but kayin needs to say etzba. Kahuna boy etzman. Since by Kabbalah it only says kayin, he holds that it's kosher b'small. So asks the Gemara, if according to him where it says etzba, it doesn't have to say kayin, then why does it say kayin? If etzba is enough to denote yamin, then why does it say kayin? Ve'ela kayin lamali, that's to tell you bikihunan, that they have to be in their full kahuna, meaning they have to wear their four begadim. But what are you going to do with zrika? It only says kayin. And yet the zrika has to be done biyamin. Vari zrika d'lo kasabu ala kahuna. Utanan, we learn zorak b'smol puzzle. If you throw your left hand, it's puzzle. Says the Gemara, v'loi polig Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon doesn't argue. Says the Gemara, well, guess what? Reb Shimon does argue. Although he doesn't argue in the Mishnah, he argues in the Brisa. Amar Abaya polig b'Brisa. The Tanya kibbul b'smol puzzle. Reb Shimon machshir. Zorak b'smol, if you throw it the left hand is puzzle. Reb Shimon machshir, because it only says kayin. And Rabbi Shimon says if it only says kayin, it's not enough. It has to say both kayin and etzba. If it says etzba, that's enough. But if it only says kayin, it's not enough. The Taka holds that since by Zrik it only says kayin, it's Taka kasher b'smal. Okay, Rabbi Isai, I have to tell you that we did the shir in an hour and 5 minutes, although the first blot was anything but easy. And I think we did it slow enough. Mark didn't look like he was complaining and angry, and sometimes you see the petulance on his face. And Marshall just has his normal face. Take it or leave it. Yeah.
Where's our trip tomorrow? Where are we going?
Well, I know that my children were thinking about going to the zoo, so they were thinking about the one on Taft Court.
You should just watch the Zoom presentation.
Okay, guys.
We're going to learn now. We're going to learn now the Mishnah Yomis Rabbi say, so don't go anywhere.